Hey, it's your professional sarcastic man in secret of attention. I was Chris here with reviews on Justice League Odyssey number 9 and New Agents of Atlas number 1 of 4. So, on to JLO, Darkness Falls on the Ghost Sector. So, written by Dan Abnett, art by Daniel Semperi, coloring by Ivan Placencia, and cover by Carmine Di Giandomenico and Ivan Placencia. So, Azrael discovers a entirely new power. He is able to speak the truth to get people to stop fighting. Just the basics of this new power. And as he says, he, as shown when he gets Starfire to be calm, he just literally just says, "Be calm," and suddenly she stops and kneels alongside all of the other Azraelites and Tamaranians as well. So he's able to recruit them to his cause to help them with their plan to defend the Ghost Sector. And Blackfire is not particularly happy about that, and she leaves, and neither is Jessica about what's happening. And while this is all going on, in a different part of the Ghost Sector, Cyborg is fighting off all these devices, these animal machine hybrid creatures that Brainiac left to defend the Ghost Sector against Darkseid. Cyborg is able to hold them off, obtain the relic that he needs, and absorbs its data and power. And while this is all going on, Jessica has doubts about what's going on. They're following through with Darkseid's plan, and which isn't really a good thing given who Darkseid is. I'm still guessing he has very ulterior motives. This is Darkseid. He's not a very, very good guy in a lot of people's opinions, but they're trusting him now so far. But Jessica is a bit worried, given that Azrael now has the power to just kind of convince people not to attack. He's able to calm them down and get them to join his forces. And all three of them are willing to at least help Darkseid for now. So Jessica is very worried about what's going on. So that was it for that issue. Story 4 out of 5. I liked it. Didn't particularly progress the plot, but I think it was a good issue regardless. The art by Semperi and coloring by Placencia, 4 out of 5. The art and coloring was definitely really, really good, especially in these parts where Cyborg is fighting off against the Brainiac creatures. The art and coloring here was really, really good, especially near the end when he obtains the relic that he needs. Good looking page right there. The cover by Di Giandomenico and Ivan Placencia, 4 out of 5. Art and coloring on that, very, very good. Although this really doesn't have anything to do with the story inside the issue, but it was a good book regardless. So on to The War of the Realms, New Agents of Atlas, number 1 of 4, this new mini-series. New Agents of Atlas, aka New Asians of Atlas, since everyone on the team is Asian. So we're introduced to 2 new Marvel superheroes, Wave and Arrow. Arrow of which is getting a her Chinese series is getting an English translation from July onwards, and will feature a backup story about Wave. So Arrow and Wave encounter each other, but they are interrupted by one of Queen Sindr's forces, or just Queen Sindr herself. And while this is going on, the Jimmy Woo wants to create a new Agents of Atlas and hires Miss Marvel, Chulk, pretty much Chulk. That's what we'll call Amadeus Cho, Chulk, Brawn as he's actually called. So Brawn, Miss Marvel, Shang-Chi, and Silk to be part of this New Agents of Atlas. And I don't know, there's just this weird part where it's just like, I get the meaning, but it's just like, do we really need to emphasize like they're different type of Asian? So we got Chinese, Chinese American, Korean American, Pakistani American, but Wu uses it as you may be different kinds of Asians, but it doesn't matter when we're all part of a team, you know. As he says, okay, listen, he uses a pair as the metaphor. It's like, it's just a pair. There's no need to fight about it. Just like there's no need to fight about most of the stuff we waste our time fighting about. I'm not saying all conflict is bad. When I'm leading an Atlas mission, I want to hear the best ideas from everyone on the team. But everyone on the team needs to contribute, not just critique, just like you told those kids. So, yada, yada, yada. They learn about the War of the Realms that's going on. New York is under attack, but so is Seoul. They're picking up the same Rainbow Bridge-esque readings that's going on in New York, in Seoul as well. So they head off to Seoul. We're reintroduced to White Fox, who is a South Korean superhero, and also to Luna Snow, who was she was a K-pop Marvel superhero who was introduced in like a South Korean Marvel game. So I'm going to say this is probably her first debut in a Marvel comic, proper Marvel comic. Fact check me on that. Maybe she debuted earlier, but as far as I know, she was video game exclusive. Now she's actually in the comics. So Luna Snow arrives to fight off Queen Sindr's forces. So does Danby, Crescent, and her magic bear Io, just as the agents of Atlas arrive, but their ship is shot down, and they get into a misunderstanding with the Korean heroes, which basically Queen Sindr wanted, and now they have to face off against the forces of New Muspelheim. So that's it. So story, I didn't say who was on these. So written by Greg Park. The writing, the story, 3.5 out of 5. It was above average. It was okay. I liked it for what it was. The pacing was a bit quick, in a lot of parts. It kind of really rushes a little bit in order to get to the main story of them having to face off against Sindr and the forces of Muspelheim. So, especially like they really built it up in the solicits. It's just like, here's all these new heroes, Arrow, Wave, and Swordmaster. We're only introduced to them in like the first Arrow, at least Arrow and Wave in the first two pages, and you don't really know a lot about them apart from their name and where they're from. So Wave, Pearl Pengan, aka Wave, home base Cebu City. Lei Ling, aka Arrow, home base Shanghai. That's all we really know about them. It was slightly a bit rushed in order to introduce all of these characters, both new and existing, in order to get to the plot. But I liked it for what it was, hence why I gave it 3.5 out of 5, above average. The art by Geng Hook Lim and coloring by Federico Pli. 3.5 out of 5, not bad. The art and coloring was definitely a good part of this comic. I really liked it. I think it was at its best. Surprisingly, just in this page, it mainly once they arrive at Seoul to fight off Queen Sindr's forces. The cover, which is by who did the cover? The cover by Billy Tan. 3 out of 5. The art and the coloring is good. I'm not a big fan of the faces. I don't particularly like how the faces are drawn. I don't think they're drawn. They're very average looking. That's why I'm giving it a average rating of 3 out of 5, middle rating. But the art and coloring is good. A lot of the faces just just this pose, the pose here, just all of them just like this. It's very average looking and just a plainish background. It leaves me wanting more. It's an average cover. Could have been better. Funny thing is, Swordmaster on the cover not in this comic. He is nowhere to be seen in this comic. Swordmaster is not on it, despite being solicited as being having debuted in this. Not on there. There's also another. Funny enough, Miss Marvel is a part of this. She's not on the cover either. White Fox is a part of this, not on the cover either. So, yeah, could have done a bit better with the cover, but I liked it for what it was. It's only a mini series, so I'm just going to continue it, see how it goes. I'm mainly interested in Swordmaster and Arrow series, which come out in July. This serves as their introduction to the main Marvel universe, and particularly to the Western audiences, since their series already exist in China and are just getting English translations for July onwards. And also an additional story by Greg Pak of them interacting with other characters in the Marvel Universe. So Swordmaster with Shang-Chi, and Arrow and Wave's getting an origin story, and Arrow's #1, who also is actually missing on this cover as well. So it's a few people that are missing on the cover, or on the cover but not in the book. But yeah, like I said, I liked it for what it was. It's not something I'd highly recommend, but I enjoyed it for the most part. So that's it for those two. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you all next time.